You know, you might win this fucking match, but I'll tell you what, I fucking hate the way you played.
You want to throw in the towel? It's for you. Go on.
Phil doubles after all that patience, Nick.
Just like that, Ollie. We have a match.
Uh-oh, we're back to even. Well, I'm still up 3K. This is nuts. You made a good comeback.
And Phil Hellmuth wins round 1 of High Stakes Duel 2.
There will be a rematch.
Right.
You can guarantee that. I'm nervous. Very. It's never easy, is it? Oh, I can't look. This is too painful.
And it's running hearts.
Can't beat the man.
What does that tell you? To me, that's apex predator shit, bro.
Yes, that has got to get you fired up. He is Brent Hanks. I am Jeff Platt. Hey, we're back.
We're back, my man.
It's no gamble, no future. Thank you all so much for being here, for checking us out on YouTube, for liking, for subscribing, for checking us out on Facebook, for clicking the like button there. We'll get to our cards later, but Brent, let's just get right to it. That sound good to you?
Bring them in. Come on.
Let's bring in our Poker Hall of Famers. They will square off in round 3 of High Stakes Duel 2, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Eastern on Poker Go. Hype show the day before, weigh-in the day of. Daniel Negreanu and Phil Hellmuth join us now. Phil, as I've said the last couple times, you are the reigning, defending, undisputed champion of High Stakes Duel, so we will start with you. And I'm going to let the man to my left ask you a question that's been on his mind for a while. Take it away, Mr. Hanks.
Hello, Phil. Phil.
What's up, Brent?
Listen, I know you've been on the road. You've got a new hat, which I'm going to let you get to in a minute. I'm not used to this new Phil version, but U.S. Poker Open just completed. I drafted you on Team Trusty Rusty. I needed you there alongside Daniel and Kerry. I'm just going to be honest. It was a letdown. My team lost. It cost me dinner.
Javier's Top Shelf Tequila. Sorry, go ahead.
Where have you been? Please fill us in on your journeys.
Yeah, too much traveling actually, but I mean, I had to go down to, I've really gotten into Bitcoin lately and cryptocurrencies, and I had to go to this big conference they had down in Miami, and so that was a lot of fun. And I was looking around. I had a lot of offers from a lot of different crypto companies that wanted me to be involved. From whether it was NFTs to whatever. And so, I mean, a bunch of different offers. And so I kind of was exploring that and having a lot of fun in Miami. And as you can see now, I signed with Bitcoin Latinum. I'm a paid endorser for Bitcoin Latinum, and I'm now I'm rooting on, the Bitcoin Latinum coin, and it's fun to be a part of that family.
Latinum or Platinum?
Latinum, LA.
Bitcoin Latinum. Look at that. Wow.
If the cryptocurrency stuff wasn't going on, would you have fired the U.S. Poker Open? Let's say you were in Vegas, you didn't have as much going on. Does that still inspire you, motivate
100%.
you to compete with the best of the best? Okay.
That was on my schedule, and I was 100% going, and I wanted to go, and I wanted to show my biggest critic, Mr. Real Kid Poker, Mr. Daniel Negreanu, that I can still compete and win at the highest levels. He doesn't believe I can, so I am planning on playing. The Poker Cup's coming up July 1st, and I'm planning on playing in those. But Brent, two things: one, you should have texted me before drafting me. You have my number. I mean, and then number two, Daniel, didn't it sound pretty cool when they called us Poker Hall of Famers?
I don't even remember them saying that.
At the top of the show.
But yeah, it's fact.
You guys are so used to it by now. Daniel, how would you sum up your U.S. Poker Open?
You don't want to hear. If this is true, document. The last 12 all-ins I played in U.S. Poker Open, I won the grand total of 0 of them. So it was a really ugly spot when I got it all in. I came third in the 8th game. At a 10th, and I bubbled like 5 events. I bubbled the short deck with 2 kings. against Jack 10. So, definitely I felt like I dominated because I was building stacks every single day in all these tournaments and had a big stack, and then get it all in with Ace King against Ace Queen or something along those lines, and I lost those spots. And it's been a weird run. It's kind of a spooky run for me for quite a while. Like when the money goes in and there's no more decisions to be made, me coming out with sausage in my hand and take it out the door.
Now, Kibasa, right in hand. Phil, you mentioned the Cup. Just a little reminder, there was some date changes. It will actually begin July 6th now. And the Heads Up Championship, which you didn't mention that, the 100K, that'll start on July 15th. Can we expect to see you in the 32-player field?
Yeah, I committed to play, but I might have to go to Cannes Film Festival for Bitcoin Latinum, and so that starts July 6th, and so I committed to do that if I have to do that. So we'll see. I think if I do go there, we'll host a big event there. It'll be a lot of fun. I hosted one at Sundance Film Festival, and there were 40 stars, all of them more famous than me, in that room, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, but I mean, I'm planning on playing, and I'm definitely planning on playing the 100K.
Boom.
Okay, so let's get all the future plans out of the way, and then we'll get to High Stakes Duel coming up. Daniel, is PokerGo Cup on the calendar for you? Is the 100K PokerGo Heads Up Championship on the calendar for you? And if so, how do you plan on prioritizing those perhaps versus World Series events, which are also going on next month?
Well, that's the cool thing, and I did talk to Carrie. So it's going to be just a jam-packed schedule for me. I'm going to play the Win 10 million guarantee prior to that, and then I'm going to be playing the World Series Poker Online events. I asked Carrie, and we can play at the table. So I'll probably be multi-tabling. I'll be playing in PokerGo Cup events as well as doing.
So Phil, same plan for you. If you're playing PokerGo Cup, you'll be firing on your phone or laptop, iPad, whatever during World Series.
Of course, that was my plan. I'm so glad that Daniel got that confirmed for us. But I figured, yeah, I mean, I thought. So I mean, if I'm here July 6th, then I'll be playing both, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm with Daniel. It's going to be kind of fun to play online and in the real world at the same time.
Yeah. The good news is Carrie said not final tables, but final tables start early on the next day.
Right.
So let's say you restart at noon or 1. You play your final table, then you can jump into the WSOP event after that too.
Okay, sounds good. So it sounds like you both will be firing pretty hard next month, and we'll be firing hard next week for High Stakes Duel 2, Round 3. Daniel, let me start with you here. Describe to us how much pressure you feel going into this third round.
Well, I would describe it as nerves, nervous, because it's holy shit, right? For the world at large, right? Can you imagine, right? We already know Phil Hellmuth. We already know he's got a reasonable ego, right? He wins again. Right? Beats Antonio 3 times, beat 3. It might explode. We may have, the Big Bang Theory, a poker version, where his head just shatters all over the World Series. We can't have that. For the world, for humanity's sake, we can't have Phil win again, because there's no coming back from that. Also, he'll cash out if he wins, right? So I think it's important that I win so that we can play, a big match with whoever's next on the calendar. So I'm not nervous about my game. I'm not nervous about how I'm going to play. I'm not nervous about, the decisions I'm going to make. I'm just nervous about when he gets ace-4 offsuit and goes fucking bonkers and ham, and I call it 2-8. And he's then I'm like, oh fuck, I'm only 2-1 favorite. This is scary. So that's what I'm nervous about. I'm nervous about the play with cards on their back, stuff that's out of my control. But the stuff that's in my control, I'm obviously very, very confident in that regard.
Phil, I have to ask, if the unthinkable happens in your mind and Daniel goes on to defeat you next week, will you plan on rematching him for the largest money round ever on High Stakes Duel?
No. I mean, to me, this is just a super important match, and there's a lot of pressure on both Daniel and I because he can't re-challenge me, and I won't re-challenge him. So it's kind of, winner take all. There's a lot of pressure. And, the way my mind works is a lot of times if I'm going to bed the night before a final table or the night before a big match like this or a night before an important day two, sometimes I don't sleep well if I'm going to bed with the wrong strategy. It's really weird. It's like my mind correcting itself and saying, all right, buddy, you're not going to sleep because your strategy is not what you want it to be. And so, there's just so many ways that Daniel and I have played against each other so far. So much zoom, so much trapping, so much of everything. So, to me, it's a matter of going to bed these last couple of nights before the match with the strategy that I want to use and that I'm happy with.
Okay, got it. So
I
just
have
to
a
be clear.
suggestion for you. Well, hold on. I have a suggestion
Yeah.
for you on that because I know you need sleep. I think it might be better for you to just sleep through the first hour and a half, right? Just show up late. I'll blind you off. It'll be about the same anyway because, then I'll get my little lead. And then later you'll zoom and, you try to get back to match. But, if you need the extra sleep, Phil, by all means, I'll start on time and we'll see you when you show up.
What do you think, Phil?
Well, they already asked me to move the match an hour earlier for you, Daniel, and I did agree. But I told them I'm walking in at exactly a certain time, and I agreed. So we did move it a little bit earlier for you, and I don't think it'll affect things much. But I just want you to know that. So.
Okay, so just to clarify, again, if Daniel were to win the next round, it would be up to you to rematch. You will not rematch him. You're going to move on. Okay, so that sounds like then, Jeff, Daniel, if Phil loses, you're going to get Tom Dwan next.
Okay, that sounds fun. I like a little Durac. I think that it would look a lot different than it will with Phil because obviously the strategy and the ways in which we play are going to be a little more similar pre-flop. Like Phil plays a limping trappy style where Tom is going to raise buttons probably. So they'll be different. It'll be unique for people to see, like some more 3-betting and open raises. And listen, this is just hopeful. First task is just have everything run well and me win the match, and then we can worry about Tom Dwan if that's next on the docket.
Very good.
Phil, what were you thinking? What was running through your mind when Daniel discussed the possibility of playing Dur next?
Yeah, I mean, a couple things. One is we can, we have some choice in who we play next. Both Daniel and I. He might not know that. And then number two, Dwan's a hell of a poker player. So, and Daniel's going to play great in this match. I have no doubt. And it's a real challenge.
Both of you have mentioned the pressure. Daniel talked a little bit about nerves. So, Phil, how would you describe what your nerves are like at the very start of play? You told us a little bit about your process the day before. What about at the very beginning when that first hand is dealt?
Well, once the first hand's dealt, I'm extraordinarily comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So I've spent my life at a table. I've spent my life, 25 years playing in front of audiences and global audiences a lot of times. So that's all easy. What happened with Antonio before the $400,000 match is that I was freaking out because basically I didn't sell any piece of myself. So I had maybe 87,000 bet or something, and similar with Daniel, I think. Maybe of 190 of the 200,000 is my money, and so I'm just not used to risking big amounts of money in the real world, and so for me, I was actually just freaking out right before the Antonio match. I just was out of my mind. I was just I can't even I was thinking I can't shake anybody's hand, but they're going to be mad if I don't shake their hand. Oh my God, I'm just so freaked out. And I just was in just a state as I walked over there. And I just tried to turn the music up as loud as I could. And I went in there and I kind of shook everybody's hand quickly because that's polite. That's what you need to do to say hello to everybody. But it was obvious I kind of wanted to be left alone. I lied down on the floor and just stared up at the ceiling, just waiting for the time to pass. And was just super, super, super nervous until Nick and Antonio sat down. The minute they sat down and the interview started, boom, I was on, and now I can just forget about all the bullshit and just play poker. But yeah, no, I mean, it was kind of a weird thing for me. In the Antonio match, I just forgot to sell a piece of myself, and so luckily I had a really good day. And with Daniel, I think I'm going to, do the same thing. I don't know, I don't like selling to somebody, and you know what I mean? It's just too much of a hassle. So I'll have probably 190,000 on myself with a 200,000 bet. and that's gonna make me nervous because I'm just not used to firing those amounts of money. I play high stakes poker. In my regular game, we pay at the end of the year. If you lose 200, it's not a big deal. You have a lot of sessions to get even. This is different. So yeah, I had a lot of stuff going on.
Daniel, as you prepare for next week, having already lost 2 matches now to Phil, anything change with that preparation? Anything change as far as having now to adjust to the apex predator himself?
Well, I always look to fine tune and improve whenever possible. So one of the things I was able to do, now that I had a little bit more of a sample size of his frequencies and things that he does, I manually tracked. I went over all the video and I literally tracked, what is his limp percentage? Like how often is he open raising? How often is he open folding? How often is he betting turn? What percentage of those are, I basically broke down, all of the relevant stats to look to see, what are the things that I think he's doing really, really well? And what are the things that I think I can exploit, right? Because it's always going to be something that you look to do. Because I'm not playing, for all the discussion about GTO or game theory, there's nothing about how I've played against him that's been game theory off, outside of some frequency balancing. But really, I've not played game theory off, and it's been totally exploitative. Obviously in the first match, making a lot of big folds because Phil was way under bluffing, and he just really didn't bluff much in the first match. Second match, he bluffed more. I was still over folding probably. But in the third match, I expect, Phil was successful somewhat with the bluffing strategy, so I expect him to bluff more, which allows me, to start calling again, right? Because the way it works sometimes like this, someone has to, when you play somebody, right, after a while, they kind of have to earn those calls. And Phil, in the first match he preferred kind of just, it's a lot easier to play poker when you have it, right? Than it is to, run big bluffs. And, he did. He ran some more bluffs in the second match, which was good, I thought. But now I'll be prepared for that, so I can, kind of play a little more normal. There was a fold I made with Queen 8 with the Queen of Clubs, right? When it came 8 high and there was a 10 of clubs. And that was that's a slam dunk call from a game theory perspective. You have to take a real stretch of exploitation to fold that hand. And I did, and he bluffed. He had King Deuce. So now I see that he's capable. He's earned he's earned the calls, if you will. So I think the third match will be more fun as a result, where they might be more blood. It might be a lot more bluffing or leveling or who knows. Or maybe not. Maybe we'll both just play like fucking nits. We'll see. We don't know until we match up. But as far as preparation, I found it fun to kind of go over all the frequencies and just see all right, when he limps and I check back, how often does he see bet the flop? What do you think, Phil, if you had to guess? Because I know.
No idea.
Yeah, no idea. I'll tell you, I have it right here. Let's see. I think it's 71%. Well, yeah, so you limp. You know how you say you limp 90% of buttons? I'll give you your stats. You limped 76.8%, you raised 11.4%, and you folded 11.4% of your buttons. Okay, and against my button raise, well, that's not right. Yeah, so anyway, I have them all mixed up here. But it was interesting to see, right? So when Phil limps and you check back, he bets the flop a high percentage of the time. And you know what? Because of his strategy, having such a strong range there, that's correct. When people see, he bets that's what he should be doing. Especially when I check back. If I'm checking back in the big blind, I don't have ace-king, I don't have aces, I don't have kings. He can, because he traps with those hands, right? So when a flop comes 8-3 deuce, there's a certain number of combos I can have that are value, 8s and 3s, 8s and deuces, but he can have 9s, 10s, jacks, queens, kings, aces, which means he should bet there, and he does. So while he has a unique style, some of it is some of the adjustments he makes to that style, the living strategy, really go in line well with that. And that's just that's not being me condescending at all. It's just true. Because he limps so much, he should see that a lot, and he does.
So Phil, same question, especially after hearing that. What is your adjustment process like? Your preparation process like leading up to this match?
Yeah, I have to decide on all levels what the best strategy is for me going in. Obviously, I'm looking back at the matches, and I did a lot more. To me, I did a lot more bluffing. To me, it was night and day the way I played. Played really, really slow, and then played really, really fast in the second match. So, we'll see. I think about poker differently than almost everybody else on the planet, for better or for worse. And so, I'll be thinking about some stuff and what in specific, I don't know. I mean, there's just so much to playing heads up. I know that I've never been able to discuss my heads up strategy with anybody before.
Mm-hmm.
I might talk to a couple of people about poker strategy in the past. The one thing I can't do is ever talk heads up strategy with them, because nobody kind of can. I feel like I have a pretty good strategy, and so I'm not sure until I lose a bunch of times. I'm not sure how much I want to change. Now against Daniel, it's different because we've already played 2 matches. He's seen what I can do. So I will tell you this: I think it's going to be a really fun match.
Phil,
I think the viewers are going to have a lot of fun.
Sorry about that. Were you aware that you were limping? Daniel, correct me if I'm wrong. You said 76% of all buttons.
Actually, I think it's higher if you look at the first 2 hours of the match versus the last 2 hours of the match.
Interesting.
I think I limped a lot more the first 2 or 3 hours of the match, and then less as the blinds went up. And I felt it was, so, but yeah. I actually did think it was. I limped about 90%, but yeah, no, I believe it.
So that's clearly a well thought out strategy that you have that you want to employ in these matches. What are the reasons behind just limping nonstop on these buttons?
I find it very hard to talk about heads up. A lot of people don't really,
And I'm not trying to spoil your secrets or anything. Yeah.
No, I think people would rather say, oh, I don't like this or I don't like that. And so I don't really like to talk about my heads up strategy very much. So, there are days where I show up for matches and I'm like, all right, I don't know how I'm going to play. I'm going to see how he plays and then make my strategy based on that. And that's been pretty effective for me in the past. And so, showing up and kind of letting the opponent dictate the pace. And from there,
if I can make an analogy, if you will, Phil, it reminds me a little bit of like a Floyd Mayweather boxing match. He typically will go the distance, but he always wins the fight. Nothing is pretty, nothing is flashy, lots of jabs. It's hard to land a haymaker on the guy. Is that a fair analogy for sort of what you're trying to do in all of these matches as you're now 5-0 in this format?
I think that's partly true. Yeah. For sure, but as you saw, I threw a haymaker with the 10 deuce suited, and and I went crazy on some big bluffs against Antonio as well. So, I don't think that. It's more difficult to win if you don't make some adjustments.
Daniel, what do you think about that Floyd Mayweather analogy?
I get what you're saying. I wanted to add one more stat that I just,
Sure.
because I have it in my phone here when I was going to put it together. One of the things he did differently in the second match was in match number 1, because I actually separated the statistics by each match to compare. In match 1, he 3-bet 9% of hands when I opened the button. In match 2, he upped that to 22.8%, right? So he went definitely a lot more zoom in match 2. Having said that, I don't know, the Mayweather thing, without saying too much, right? Mm-hmm. I think Phil's at his best or more comfortable later in matches than he is early in matches. I think that he's spent most of his life and most of his career playing tournaments, right? He does play cash, I know, in high stakes games as well. But I think his biggest, if you have the most experience at a certain blind level, right, you're going to be likely your best at it. For me, I've spent most of my time and energy focused on like 100 big blinds or more, right? So my deep stack play, I think, is very, very good right now. I think, that's showing true in the U.S. Poker Open where I keep building these stacks. And I think it's held true, with the Phil matches because I got out to like a 3-1 lead or better in the first one each time. And then when the blinds go up, Phil starts to shine and Phil starts to do his zoom stuff, make some moves and different things like that. And, has been able to win both matches. But it's a tale of two strengths, I guess. I mean, it's hard to explain. I guess I'm not being rude at all, right? I don't think. I'm just saying, like, deep stack, I think I have a very significant advantage. and that advantage decreases as the blinds continue to go up.
Phil, your thoughts on Daniel thinking that he has a significant advantage when deep stacked?
Yeah, I mean, it's very tricky, very very hard to tell these things. But I do know this. Daniel is playing really really great poker, and he's one of the greatest poker players we've had in the last 20 years. And and he presents a unique challenge. And each match is different. Each opponent's different. And those challenges. I mean, man, it's what is that? A cat in the background, Daniel?
It's my dog. It's one
Probably
of my dogs.
dog. Yeah.
Sorry, I realized when I saw the tail that it was definitely a dog. Yeah. So I mean, I think this last match, it's game on, and there's a lot of pressure on both of us, and I think that it's going to be a lot of fun for the spectators to watch, and I'm playing against one of the greatest, so it's a challenge.
Yeah, along the lines of spectators, last one for me, and then I'll let Brent close us out. You both have been in the poker spotlight for a while, of course. You've played significant events time and time again throughout the years. But, Phil, I'll start with you because you just mentioned it. Do you think about the intrigue that this has created in the poker world, and what kind of impact do you think that this high-stakes duel has on the poker world as a whole?
Listen, I give Maury Eskandani a ton of credit, for coming up with this format. High Stakes Duel, and it turned out that the timing for the show turned out amazing. I mean, no one wanted a pandemic, but it turned out there was no poker content, and Antonio and I were a compelling watch, right? And Antonio had been talking shit to me for, basically 2 decades, and assumed I was afraid to play him heads up. I never was, but because I didn't take the bait, he assumed I was afraid, and I think that was really really good television. And I think this format is great for poker, and I think watching a couple of legends battle is great for poker. And we had that with Antonio, and we have that with Daniel and I. And this is just I think the poker world is really winning. I think it's going to be, and I think when this stuff hits NBC Sports, I think it's going to be pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to so yeah, this is great for poker. Daniel versus Phil, 2 of the guys that have been winning for a couple of decades in tournaments, and so yeah, it's great for the poker world, I think.
And Daniel, same thing. Can you feel the buzz around this?
Yeah, in general, I think heads up poker. With this show, with the marquee matchup, and it sort of being appointment television, where everyone in the poker community is on Twitter, they're talking about it, they're watching it live, living the ups and downs. And I think the fact the match I think that the first match is what made it epic, was that, I had him down to 3,000, right? Match looked like it would have been over. And I don't know, maybe if it would have ended right there, it might not have been as well, wow. But the fact that he was able to come back, right, and win the match after being down 97-3, set up, a oh my God moment, where several of them in the first match that led to the second, and so on. And I think also what's been spawned from this is we're seeing heads up sort of, gain a lot of traction. A lot of people are really interested in the format, and I think it's fun. And I think for poker, these kind of marquee events make a lot of sense, right? Because if you run a tournament with 2,000 players, and you're going to have 50, 60 big names in the tournament, whatever. The final table is not going to be all the big names. It's good. There's going to be some occasionally, but it doesn't usually work out that way. So this is an opportunity where you can just take 2 people, whether it's over an actual beef, whether it's just friendly competition, whatever it is, and then people in the poker community can discuss and bet. I think that's been one of the biggest things too, is noticing how much action people are taking at the minus 150 line in this match, and other lines throughout what's going on with the WT one as well. People are going to have opinions, and they're going to put their money where their mouth is, and that makes watching it more enjoyable. I think anytime if you're going to watch a football game and one team is 0-8 and the other team's 0-7, I mean, if you don't have money on it, is that really a game you're going to turn into? So I think that adds a lot to the show.
Okay,
Yeah, and my compliments to Brent, and my compliments to Daniel, because I think he and Doug Polk put on an amazing match for the poker world. People were watching that every day for months, and that was also great for poker. So to Daniel's point, having some of the people that people have watched for a couple of decades that are colorful, that are interesting. I think that's a nice, that adds a little bit to it as well.
Heads Up has certainly been front and center in the poker world for quite some time. Also, shout out Phil Gelfond, who started that Gelfond challenge.
Absolutely.
It seems to be overlooked a little bit as of late. One final thought, quick question for you both. Food has become sort of a topic of conversation throughout High Stakes Duel, particularly with you, Phil. Can we expect to see you eating and drinking anything special for round 3?
Obviously, I'm going to have some brain fuel, which I'm going to be drinking.
Ah.
And I think brain fuel just made it into 3,000 CVS stores all over the country. It's kind of a new category of drink. I mean, listen, I'll probably pull out. I mean, I don't know. I'm probably going to pull out some. I probably have to pull out some candy, right? I don't think I can have the match without some candy. I'll definitely have food. I mean, people don't understand how much energy you burn when you're playing heads up. Decision, trying to figure out what your opponent's doing, trying to figure out, how you want to respond, and so there's a lot of energy burn in these matches. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have food there. I probably almost certainly have to have some Sour Patch Kids. Maybe I'll go with the strawberry frosted Pop-Tarts this time. I don't know.
Ooh. Nice.
I'm definitely going to have like some.
Yeah, please, Daniel. You get to watch Phil do a lot of eating. What's going on in your corner?
I have a plan. Listen, I've watched this guy eat all this stuff and then run good when it mattered. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take some Sour Patch Kids. Okay. I'm going to take cashews. I'm going to take a faux chicken sandwich. I'm going to take in some dumplings, all vegan, of course. I'm going to put them in a blender, okay? Liquefy them. And then I'm going to drink that damn shake from hand 1 to the end and see if that changes things up. I don't know what it's going to taste like. I can't imagine too good. But listen, if it works for Phil, I'm not ashamed to say I'll give it a shot.
Look out for Hellmuth after that. Look out, Phil. Gentlemen, it's a blast.
Daniel, we'll have some brain fuel. We'll have some brain fuel sent to your house, Daniel. I mean.
Oh, then we'll top it off with that.
Yeah, drizzle some brain fuel on top. That'll be perfect.
It's gonna be a little too thick without the brain fuel.
All right, guys, we will see you on Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time, exclusively on Poker Go. Hype Show the day before, weigh in the day of. Thank you very much for the time. As always, we appreciate it.
Thanks, boys.
Good show, guys.
Yeah, see you guys next week.
Guys.
Thanks again.
All right, there they go. Phil Hellmuth and Daniel Negreanu, the Poker Hall of Famers. I'm fired up for round 3. Let's do this.
I am fired up. I got to tell you, though, these guys have come a long ways. You think back to our first show with them.
Yeah.
The fireworks.
They really went. We didn't say anything.
Shit talk, right? Yeah, we just sat back, had nothing to say. They really got into it. Really have dialed it down as of late. I mean, what more can you say? You can't fight the entire time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It would get a little old.
Right.
Although we would kind of like it a little bit.
I give Phil a lot of credit.
Yeah.
Because Daniel, I mean, without just saying it plainly, is suggesting and saying, I'm a lot better than you, Deep Stack. Here's what I'm going to do better. This is why I'm better. Here are the stats to prove it. Phil bites his tongue.
Yeah. Daniel, very confident in the advantage that he has going into round 3. Very curious to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
Very excited to see what happens really either way, because you mentioned it. If Negreanu wins, it's Tom Dwan, and they're each putting up $400K.
Right.
And that is absurdly awesome. What about if Hellmuth wins?
Well, let's go there. I'm glad you brought that up. My friend, our friend, friend of the show, Nick Wright from Fox Sports 1, he tweeted out at Phil Hellmuth, and he challenged him for the next High Stakes Duel for round 1, the $50K match. Jeff, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about two of the most polarizing people in all of their particular media landscapes. Nick Wright from sports media in general, known for his hot takes, which he backs it up. Phil Hellmuth, the poker brat, right? I mean, these guys don't shut up. Putting them in the ring, facing off, squaring off for round 1 of the next High Stakes Duel, if Hellmuth defeats Daniel Negreanu, is a no-brainer. You're going to bring in all sorts of folks from the sport media side of the industry, new eyeballs, a new audience. I mean, this is fully supportive of that.
It's going to be great for the game either way. High Stakes Duel will continue. We'll just see in what form that it does. All right, let us get to our cards. And I think, Brent, to start things off, It is the only thing that makes this segment relevant because it's the only being of sorts that is profitable, and that is Betcoin.
Bring him in.
Betcoin?
Betcoin.
Betcoin, are you there?
Betcoin, are you living?
Oh.
Trust the coin.
I am Betcoin.
There is Betcoin. All right, so we are going to do 2 flips for Betcoin today, okay? We're going to do 2 flips. We want to do the most talked about game in sports, and I think that has to be Bucks-Nets. And that Bucks-Nets game, there it is. That is coming up tomorrow night. The Bucks are the away team, so they will be heads. The Nets are the home team, so they will be tails. Let's go ahead and flip this one, and then we'll get to our next
All right, here we go.
battle. Yeah.
By the way, what is Betcoin's record?
Betcoin is up 3.7 units.
3.7
Yeah,
units.
and we are both
Has
down.
one
We are
loss.
both in the red.
Since we started Betcoin, has one loss. That's it. So this is
Up
a
3.7 units. So this is a crucial flip.
Yeah, it's a huge flip.
All right,
Here we go.
let's hit.
Here we go. Up and out.
Bucks are heads. Nets are tails.
We're on heads.
Heads. The Milwaukee Bucks.
We're on the Bucks. There
I
we
like
go.
that one.
Giannis.
I like that one. The Milwaukee Bucks. That line has seen a lot of movement over these last even 12 hours or so.
Okay.
So Bucks -1, maybe Bucks +1 right now. Whatever you can get the Bucks at, take the Bucks. And how about this?
Yeah.
Negreanu versus Hellmuth.
Wow.
Right?
I love that.
Why not?
All right. So
Okay, you dictate.
so we're gonna put Hellmuth is heads.
Okay.
Negreanu is tails.
Hellmuth heads.
Hellmuth heads. Negreanu tails.
Negreanu
You want to bet
tails.
the match? Follow the coin. Here we go. Outcome. Heads.
Heads.
Oh my God.
Heads. It's Hellmuth.
Oh come on, Betcoin.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Heads going Hellmuth
Oh my
back
God.
to back to back. But I guess if our show's Tuesday, we could have saved that flip for Tuesday.
Yeah, we probably should have saved it for Tuesday.
We could have built a graphic
Didn't think
and
about
everything.
that.
Yeah,
Didn't think about that. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, maybe we'll flip some more coins on,
Come on,
on a
Producer
Tuesday.
John,
We'll make it 2 out of 3. All right, let us get to my cards. If you're following us on Twitter at NGNF Show, you saw that we fired a couple of U.S. Open futures. I am also taking the Bucks. I fired on Rory McIlroy, Webb Simpson, Jason Kokrak, Adam Scott, and Matt Kuchar at the U.S. Open. And
How you looking in those bets early on,
not
Jeff?
great. Rory's doing okay. He's kind of lying in the weeds. I see he's at +1 in the tournament, about six shots back. What I'm also taking, Brent Hanks, I'm throwing this in late, okay?
All right.
This is a futures bet, which we do all the time.
Okay.
Going to the Euros.
Come on. You're going soccer?
Give me Portugal +750. This is a huge topic of discussion in our Slack chat with everybody involved in the show. And everybody loves soccer, loves the Euros. We haven't watched a minute of it.
Not going
but
to.
We're firing.
I don't
so
even
it's
know what it
producer
is.
Zach who gave me the Portugal tip. Portugal at +750. How have you done on your Euro action so far?
I mean, I had to ask everyone that, like, what is this?
What is
I
it?
don't
Yeah.
even know what it is.
Like, is
Apparently they
USA
do
in?
it every 4 years.
Yeah.
There's no USA. There's no Poland, and I'm Polish, and so
Yeah.
now I can't even bet on my favorite team.
Well, I'm sure they're good.
No, they're
If
probably
they're not in.
Oh, wait,
they are
Poland
in.
is in.
They are.
I've
Producer
been
John
informed
just
that
said
Poland is in. Are they any good? Can I bet them? I'll add them to my
You
card
didn't-
right now.
Okay, yeah,
Can we
bet
pull up
'em.
my card? Let's get to these, and then we'll take a look at Poland. Here we go. I got the Hawks. I'm just a homer for the Hawks when they're at home. Trae Young,
Yeah.
gonna go off, gonna sizzle. I love them at home. I'm against the
great.
Sixers, all right? I love the Jazz on the road. They're just so smooth, and I'm not a believer
Smooth Jazz.
in the old banged-up Clippers, all right? I mean, is Kawhi back?
No.
He's out.
He's out.
He's out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm on the Jazz. Give
Okay.
me them. I got, let's
Oh,
go
boy.
golf, U.S. Open. Tony Finau. I've been on him every tournament. Not a great start. I
Not
did book
great.
this the other day. Not a great start, but he's still in it. He's going to make the weekend, Jeff. Right?
Well,
What's-
he's
what is it?
+5 overall.
He's
for
got
the
he's got
tournament.
some work to do. He's got some work to do.
He's
all
got
right?
most of his round left.
Victor Hovland. I love this guy. Why? Well, because apparently he likes poker and he seems like
Yeah.
a fun guy to bet. Well,
He's +4.
not great. +4. Trying to get to that weekend. Not in a good spot. Abraham Answer, the underdog, because he's got the answer.
He's +3.
Good pick. Not going to make the weekend. And finally, my long shot, Sung Jae. I love this guy. Jeff.
He's +2.
All right, well, that
So,
one's got
yeah,
a shot.
+5, +4,
That one's got a
+3,
shot.
and +2. Sung JM. And he's taking Poland to win the Euros.
And I got Poland to win the Euros.
At 150 to 1, you're
Poland.
taking Poland.
I've got Poland. Yeah,
Okay.
give me the kielbasa.
Let's go Poland.
Right.
tweet at us your picks. Let us know if you have some locks. We desperately need them. Let's take a look at the tracker. Oh man, this is ugly.
No, it's not.
I mean, my card's always ugly. I'm at minus 19.25. Brent was up 12, and he has finally joined
loss.
my side, minus 0.69.
It's an intentional loss.
Yep, you are down in the red.
69.
Yep.
Nice.
Very nice.
Here we go.
There it is. But Betcoin is up. Remember that Betcoin is up. You can always tail Betcoin. He's at Buffalo Hanks. I'm at Jeff Platt. You can follow us at NGNF Show. Send us your picks. We are in desperate need of some locks. Go get them. Go get after him. And we're coming back Tuesday.
Yeah,
we're going to get back on that Tuesday schedule.
I don't know what we're going to do Tuesday. We have a couple plans. I'm curious. Let us know in the chat. Here are the plans. And we're just going to let's air them. Let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about it for a moment. I want to either do one of two things.
Okay.
I either want to get all of Cracking Aces, the new Barstool Poker podcast. I want to get Smitty, Mincy, and Nate on the show next Tuesday. Or I want to go to Jared Blesnick, Sports Cards, bro. We don't have that clip, do we? That was stupid. We screwed that up.
We should have rolled it.
We'll do it next week. Or we're going to go here locally in Las Vegas to their Legacy Sports Shop. I believe that's the name of it, down in Sahara in Las Vegas. I want to go inside there, do a little break, do a little filming. So it's one of two. We either go Barstool or we go Blesnick. Let the chat decide. Let us know on Twitter. What's next week's show going to be? You guys make the call.
And maybe we can do both. We can take a little trip and then come back here and interview the Barstool Boys.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all so much for watching. Thanks to our crew. They are fantastic. Brent is fantastic.
Put the
I'm
puck
just
in the net.
kind of average. And let's go
Put it in.
Poland.
Come
we'll
on.
see you on Tuesday.
Night up.